Welcome back to another episode of Student Spotlight. I'm Meghna Basrood, your host for today. And joining us is a speaker who's truly set the bar high, not only in coding but also in placement offers. Let me introduce Viram Mehta, a student from our college itself. He secured the highest placement offer of around 25 to 27 LPA. He's a 5-star coder in CodeChef, in the top 1% of Codeforces, and was the Technical VCP of CodeStars. So to begin, can you tell us a little about your academic journey in college?
So college, I joined 2022, you can say, 3 years ago because COVID. And I had received 87 point some percentile. So I think it was 30th December 21. And I secured the final seat in the college, like in my branch, at least in the soft branches. I secured the final seat. When I was going out, I could see my percentile on the board. Closed at 87 point something percentile. Yes, so that's when it started, and that is how I got into DJSCE. And my JE and CET was like not so good, but I really liked to write code, and that is the reason that I had chosen a soft branch also, or wanted to get into computer science or anything. And so then first year happened. I met new people who also liked to code, and we were friends, and then we grew together, and here we are.
Okay. So did you code in school as well?
No.
So when did you first start coding?
Like in school, I'd code in the sense I didn't seriously code in school, I would like to say. Okay. So it was 7th standard. I had stumbled upon this website called Codecademy. So it taught me Python. So I just learned. It was something like 2 hours or 3 hours of that thing. I could print hello world and I could write some if-else statements. I couldn't understand a for loop or while loop, anything else. That's what I could understand from whatever was written. That was my first instance writing code. The second was in my 10th standard vacation, when my mom dad needed some help automating Excel reports. So there was this pandas library in Python. So I just tried somewhat coding that, and that was just about a week or two at most. And after that I started in college only.
So what made you choose competitive coding?
Sorry, what
made you choose competitive programming?
So I have this very good friend Gaurish. We've been friends since a very long time. So he was in KJ and I am in DJ, and we often speak and do this. So when he took admission, he has started with competitive programming, and he told me this is a fun thing and this and that. In my first year, I didn't do a lot of it because I was much more focused on college. The main reason being we had 3 semesters in a year, and it was like a very fast-paced college thing, and I thought that it was going to be very, very important and stuff. So I focused a bit more there, and I also focused on some hackathons going here and there. And then I understood that the hackathons and stuff is not my cup of tea. I settled into college, and I started in let's say 2023 Jan or Feb. Basically my 3rd or 4th semester, you could say, I started my competitive programming. And I chose it because it was very math kind of thing, and I really enjoyed when the code ran and I got that AC verdict. That's just it. I just started for fun, and it seemed really fun.
So is there any particular mindset or skills that you require beforehand, when you're entering?
No, you don't. A skill set, a specialized skill set, no. Everybody knows how to speak, how to read, how to write. That's all is required. You just need to learn a bit of C++ or Python or any one language, which you can easily learn online, and you can start writing code. So initial questions are quite easy. It's basic if-else statements and stuff. So anyone can do that. So it's not required to get into it. The entry to barrier is quite low.
So like you said, balancing academics, extracurriculars as well as your own coding skills is very hectic, very challenging. So how did you go about that?
So, well, I'm not one to comment on academics, but coding, it wasn't about balance. It was about something that I really like doing. Let's say you really like doing something in school. You would find time for that as compared to like saying I need to cram this into my schedule. It's like the schedule makes way for that activity. So for CP for me was something like that. So whenever I used to hop on the train, I just used to read a question and I solved it. In the college also, I used to solve it on the PC and stuff. So it just happened because I really enjoyed it was the thing. And that is how I did it. And academics are not that good. So I used to study like some days before exam and I got decent enough marks.
Okay.
Yes.
So what about the attendance issue? Like as we came, colleges have the 75% attendance.
Yes, I used
so
to
how
attend
did
those
you, like
lectures.
you can maintain that attendance and
Yes.
balance it with your own.
So I didn't pay much attention in lectures. So I used to solve these problems quite a lot of the time. So the thing that I read in the train and I used to continue solving it on the paper in the lecture or pick up a new problem, something like that. So yeah, I came to college but wasn't mentally present.
Okay, so you reached 5 stars on CodeChef.
Yes.
So what kind of strategies and tips would you like to share with the viewers?
The main thing is just practice. It's practice and consistency. It's patience and not giving up. So what happened was I had 3 stars. I had reached a sort of a plateau and I wasn't improving. So I read upon some books and I read upon some material and I improved upon. But reading that, let's say on Monday and the contest is on Wednesday, I don't see the result immediately. If I read that on a particular date and I keep on reading that over a month and I keep on solving problems for over a month, I'll see that result eventually when I compare back a month. It is very incremental. So the main thing that you require is patience, nothing else. So it's patience. And the desire to just keep on doing it. Yes, exactly.
So now speaking about failures and rejections, like when you don't see the results, how do you, what advice would you like to give the viewers about dealing with that?
So, in what thing you are asking? Results in the sense in general, or is it
in general
CP
or in coding,
So, regarding comparative programming, it used to demotivate me sometimes that past 5 contests have just gone down, I've tanked in rating and this and that. But there was a simple reason for that. There is a reason for everything that happens. You just need to decode that or look for the answers. So for that, one reason could be that I wasn't getting enough sleep. I improve my sleep schedule. Then one thing could be I am probably not good enough to solve these kinds of questions. Okay, so if I'm not good enough, then how can I be good enough? I'll just practice more. Okay, so this is probably a bad topic. I'm failing in these types of questions. So practice that topic. So as a failure, so you just think through it and how are you going to get out of it. So, and the second thing is that you really love programming. So even if there are failures, you are not going to quit, and you should have some sort of a resilience. Yes, that is in coding. Yes.
So do you think even supportive peers and colleagues who help you?
Oh yes, that helps a lot.
Okay.
So just doing this alone is like you are there at the top and you don't have someone to discuss these problems with, or people in general that you can discuss with. So like Gorish says this, so he's a master on Codeforces, which is 2104. So the thing is that he says this, ki if I was in KJ, we would have gone to world finals and this and that. Like he would have still grinded on, because there was at least someone that was ready to put in the hours along with him. So it helps. I had Alan. So we used to discuss after every contest, and then more people joined in, and then it became bigger and better. So yeah, it helps a lot having peers discuss and do that, having a good enough environment.
Okay.
Yes.
So, as a technical VCP, you were the technical VCP of CodeStars. So, how was your experience, and like, what exactly is that committee? You know, do the students gain knowledge about CP and they can improve their skills? Like, for all the viewers who aren't aware about the committee.
If you aren't aware, please search on LinkedIn. Okay. So, anyways, So CodeStars is, at least when I was the VCP, I had this vision that everything competitive, it will be a place for competitive programmers. So there were just I would say three people in the college that seriously did competitive programming. It was Alan, it was me, and it was a senior Parth, who was 2 years senior to us. We were in our second year. Then third year, we came in and we were CP and VCP. Alan was the chairperson, I was vice chairperson. So the main thing was to get more people to do competitive programming and to foster this kind of a community and a culture in this thing. So that was the main aim for CodeStars when I was there. And how did we achieve it? We tried to put on different kinds of events for competitive programming, so people get a taste of it. We organize some post-contest discussions. So after every contest, Alan and I used to join in the VC and we would call everyone. He just come in. If you couldn't solve, we'll help you solve it. So that is the main aim, that it's help students or help individuals rather be good at competitive programming, and to provide them a collaborative environment, a community of CPL. Yes.
So for all those who want to start competitive programming, like which websites or platforms would you suggest, like other than CodeChef, which you refer to or had to?
So if you just want to start off, like you should just know a single language which you can learn from anywhere. CS50 is a very good course by Harvard. So you can read it as compared to watching it. Read it and solve those assignments, the transcripts and stuff. Because reading just helps your mind, it forces your mind to think rather than watching a video. It forces your mind to visualize and stuff. So that is one thing. Just read and learn a language and try it out. And then just, if you want to get started, just keep on giving contests on CodeChef and Codeforces. So Codeforces is a very good website. You can solve 800 rated problems, then 900, then 1000, then 11, 1200, so on. Yes.
So now coming to internships, you secure a 1 lakh per month stipend at Alphagrep. So how are the interview rounds?
So I was quite experienced by then, because I had faced 6 to 7 interview rejections by then. So I knew key interview rounds, what's it gonna be. So the main thing is there's an online assessment which you clear. Mainly they ask DSA. Here they ask SQL and some data science also, because it was pertaining to the role. Then there's 2 technical interviews generally in any company. So those 2 technical rounds, it depends on person to person what they ask. Now to me they asked SQL and pandas, which I was able to answer, and some of DSA. And then after that there's a small behavioral round where the manager or the team lead takes your interview, the person you're going to work with, and they see if he's going to fit in the team or how a person is if he can communicate well, if you can ask questions and something like that. So these are the main 3 rounds in almost any company. So Alphagrep also was the same.
Yeah.
And yes, I cleared them.
Okay. So what do interviewers look for? Like what should you add on your resume? How should you present yourself in the interview?
So in my experience till now, the interviewer has asked me questions based on whatever I had written in the resume. So my resume is like expert Codeforces 1835 Max, then there's 5-star CodeChef and ICPC and VCP Tech CodeStars and comparative programming, so much. So they asked questions directly on DSA and they went to the hard ones directly because it screams out competitive programming.
Yeah.
So they just asked and I was able to clear quite a few of those technical rounds because they asked me DSA and my resume screamed DSA. So there was so my friend had SQL also in his resume, so they asked him SQL. I didn't have that. So in one company they asked everyone SQL, but they just didn't ask me SQL because it wasn't on my resume. So the thing is, if you are very sure that skill you can answer questions on that, just put that on your resume. Now there might be some prerequisites that you need to know, such as object oriented programming or computer networks sometimes, or OS. So that needs to be there. Even if it is not on your resume, they'll ask it, but like it should. And then your projects are also there, so they'll ask you based on your projects only some questions here and there. So resume, just make sure there is nothing that you don't know.
Okay.
It has to be thorough and you should know every corner of your resume, and any question pertaining to your project also that is being asked, you should be able to answer it very well.
So are soft skills also important, like especially in the behavioral round?
Yes, they are very, very important. So I had interviewed for this company called Rubric.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, on your LinkedIn you had
So it is a very tough OA. So I was preparing only technically. I was like, ठीक है, technical round हो जाए तो भी good enough. I'm like very happy. And then the interviews also I had read, nobody spoke about those behavioral rounds. Yeah, like we spoke on projects and then ho gaya. In any experience that I had seen, that I have read, only one experience has that person got rejected in the behavioral, and that's mine. So yes, and so I cleared those rounds, and then came behavioral round. So the question he asked me was, what is the hardest thing, what is the toughest thing that you have done, and how did you solve it? I was like, I believe it was organizing code uncode. It was a very difficult task, and like getting in money somehow, and these balloons and organizationals and shortlisting people and stuff. So I was just going on about that. Like I was very attached to CodeStars by then, and I just spoke on about that. And he's like 10 minutes into the round, and he's like something technical. So that is the main thing that I should have known. He's asking technical. It was behavioral, so I thought like he might want to know about my leadership skills or this or that, not technical. But he corrects me, and by then it was quite late. I just changed to the technical aspect of this thing. So making the bot, we have a bot on Codeforces, so something on that. But again, the damage was done by then. So the thing is, soft skills matter. You have to be very confident while speaking, and the thoughts that come out have to be very clear from the brain to the mouth. And and you should be able to read the room.
Okay. So what makes a resume stand out according to you? Like what kind of projects should they add, internships they should add in the resume for placement?
So like, I won't be the best person to answer. I'm not a recruiter or HR kind of, but from my experience, like I haven't been said that your resume is good or anything, or like I don't feel that it stands out as such. It's something like, it's something you and the interviewer can talk on. So you need to make sure that the interviewer has a really good time speaking to you. So if you have a very interesting project that is quite unique and solves a very different kind of problem, they might be very happy to speak upon. So they don't want, like, they have seen an e-commerce platform on 100 different resumes, and they don't want, like, they know every nook and corner of every GitHub project of e-commerce platform. What you really have to show is something that interests them. Like, like we had made a project on Profolio, which was a data hack project. So it used algorithms to match people based on their interests and stuff. So cosine similarity, and it was a good enough platform. And we also gave resume scores and stuff like that. So they were like it was a bit different. And he's like, how did you achieve this? So it piqued their interest. So projects have to be something that the interviewer will be willing to talk about. And it depends on company to company. So for example, there are some HFTs. They really might like some low latency stuff, C++ dev, so making a good enough database or a server architecture, something like that. If it is a data science role, they might like something that you have done on machine learning, not machine learning per se, but some insights that you have drawn from reading data and this and that. So it should be role specific and also company specific, but in general it should be something that the interviewer has not seen and it piques everyone's interests.
So something innovative that solves a problem.
Yes. Yes.
So now coming to the most awaited question, I'm sure second, third years, everybody is eagerly awaiting you to answer this. How did you feel when you got the news that you had secured the highest placement offer?
Okay. So it was around, let's say, like June, I would say. Placements had started, UBS had come on campus. And I was like, यार solve तो हो जाएगा सब कुछ. Like, मतलब मुझे DSA आता है और कुछ पूछते भी नहीं है. Like, I didn't know they asked something else on the interviews. And I went, the test was done and I was selected, interview हुआ and like resume भी only DSA. So they asked also a DSA question and I bombed that interview because it was some sort of a space optimization problem and I don't know space optimization. Like in comparative programming, you optimize for time complexity, O of n square time, not O of n space or O of one space. It's not as common to do that. So I hadn't so I came up with a solution, some sort of, but it wasn't satisfactory enough and I bombed that. So ऐसे करके so I was very confident कि हो तो जाएगा ही मेरा कुछ भी करके. So I set a bar कि 12 lakh से नीचे कोई कंपनी में बैठना ही नहीं है. So I sat in those companies only. पर आते गए एक करके कंपनी. So I had sat for 5 interviews by then on campus और हर इंटरव्यू में कुछ ना कुछ मैं सीख रहा था. One interview I learned कि यार मेरे को SQL नहीं आता, मेरे को oops नहीं आता है. One interview I learned there is GFG puzzles करके भी एक अच्छी चीज होती है. One interview I learned somewhat behavioral and stuff. So it was a long process and I was very, what do you say, मतलब इतना टाइम हो गया था और अभी तक प्लेसमेंट नहीं हुआ और मेरे सारे दोस्तों का हो ही चुका था. Then rubric also came and I was like very sure I could see the light at the end of the tunnel. कि like अभी 20 मिनट दूरी है and हो जाएगा. I am going to receive the offer and it was a very good PPO. Like they offer very good compensation. And वो भी bomb हो गया rubric. So it was quite bad and so it was 175-200 days से I'm just trying every day. I'm just applying to any opening I see off campus. ऐसा भर रहा हूँ जा रहा है. Then Alphagrep का I was in ICPC then, so I had given the test from Amrita only. And 3rd Jan को एक interview हुआ 7th Jan को एक इंटरव्यू, then I hadn't heard from them, like कुछ भी नहीं सुना था. Then Feb में I get a call, you have to come to office on 17th Feb. I get a call कि office आना 17th Feb. I'm like ठीक है, one might be a behavioral round, but it was a technical round, तो और prepare करना था. And Feb also was ऐसा downfall ही, I was very, you say, कि like यार कब होगा, बहुत ज़्यादा ट्राई कर लिया है मैंने यार, इतने टाइम से ढूंढ ही रहा हूँ, एंड आई वांटेड कि इतना कॉम्पेंसेशन होना चाहिए. सो आई वेंट एंड इंटरव्यू हुआ, एंड 17th Feb इंटरव्यू देके SPIT में देयर वाज CP कॉन्टेस्ट, जनरल एंड आई गेव, एंड 18th इट वाज अराउंड 4 PM. तो मुझे कॉल आता है फ्रॉम सम HR Alphagrep, एंड शी इज लाइक हाँ यू हैव रिसीव्ड द ऑफर. तो मुझे ऐसा खुशी नहीं हुआ, आई वाजंट joy, no happiness. The only thing I felt was relief at the end. यार finally it's done. And then I just lied down on my bed ऐसा victory symbol करके थोड़ा सा, and like a very relief kind of thing as compared to, you would say anticlimactic, but it wasn't joy or anything. It was relief कि हाश हो गया finally, that way. So yeah.
Okay. So now social media, I think everybody is using it nowadays, whether it's scrolling through Instagram or networking through LinkedIn. So how important do you think it is for students?
So in my opinion, it has benefits and it has its cons, pros and cons. Some social media, the pros outweigh the cons, and some cons outweigh the pros. So for example, Instagram, I really don't like, or I don't use social media as much. But the major advantage, I believe, for social media is people get to know you, and you can get opportunities that way. So on LinkedIn, while I was applying off campus, it was very easy for me to get a referral for Google, Uber, Amazon, Microsoft, even Rubrik, Alphagrep, and all these companies. It was very easy for me to get a referral because I had quite a good enough following and I had good enough connections on LinkedIn. And the second thing was I was good at CP and stuff. But the main thing is those connections. Like if I didn't have a chance to message these people, I wouldn't have gotten the referral at all. So building a brand about yourself is, I believe, quite essential, so that you can get those opportunities when in need. And yeah, so that's the main thing for social media for me. Not like scrolling or anything, but yeah, that.
So deviating from the technical aspect, is there something that you would like to share about yourself, like any hobby or like even a weird fact or something?
Weird fact?
Or a hobby or habit that nobody knows about you.
Okay. So hobby, recently I've discovered that I like writing quite a lot. Not quite a lot, but like just in case, I like writing. So I've written quite a lot of things every day, and time to time I keep on posting LinkedIn or Medium. And yeah, that is fun. Origami is also fun sometimes. Yes, so crafts sometimes, and yeah, this thing.
So what is your approach when you come across like a really difficult question or a challenge, like especially when there are time constraints, there's stress, there's panic?
So the first thing is that if it's not a CP question, but it's a time constraint, some sort of a task, if I really like it, I am going to slog through night or day or anything just to complete that thing. Like करना है मतलब करना है. It is important to me personally, so I'll just do it. If it is something like कि work है, this that, then also I'll just do it. So like how do I find the time? It's just motivation from inside. कि यार I know why I am doing this, and this gives me joy, so I'll do it, something like that. And if the task is like painful and stuff, it's like fine, because I know why I am doing it. Like it's very clear कि the reason behind anything that I do. Yes.
So, college life is extremely overwhelming, like we all know sometimes, but then it's where you make the most memories. So, are there any memorable moments that you would like to share which you will always remember, like be it a trip?
College.
Yeah, in college.
So, my college life, majorly I have been doing coding only. It's very less life and it's a lot of, like I would call this life more, but it depends person to person. So, so college life, it was fun while it lasted. There was like, I got to meet a lot of new people. I got to see how people are there and how, like, the major fun during college time was when like some hackathon or something, or after college if we went somewhere, stuff like that. But yeah, it was fun, and it was competitive programming only. It was the most fun time for my college was CodeStars, you can say easily. Like, I really enjoyed being part of that club and executing the vision that Alan and I had, that we are going to do something. And it was very stressful and very much sleepless nights, this, that. But it was fun and I am very much satisfied by that outcome. Yes, it was CodeStars without a doubt.
So, with the rapid advancements in AI, I think a lot of students are majorly depending on ChatGPT and other tools for coding. So, do you think that's like, what was your advice about that? What are your thoughts on that?
So, GPT, it's a very good thing. It's a very good tool. So, I can say this, that competitive programming at least, it's like in a year's time it will be dead. Like I'm quite sure about it. The reason being, this year when making problems for code uncode, we had to go through a lot of sleepless nights for the online round, mainly because GPT should not be able to solve at least a few of the problems. First 3 problems or first 2 problems it solves completely fine. Like, it is strong, it is that strong easy. So GPT shouldn't be able to solve these problems. And we had a very hard time making such problems, even with a moderate enough difficulty that GPT can't solve. So, like, if this can happen in a contest, why can't this happen in an online assessment, in the test of a company? People will just buy, it's just $20 a month. So in $20 a month, let's say you pay for the whole year, $200 amounts to like 16,000. If you pay that for the whole year, and I tell you that you are going to get the opportunity to interview at all these big companies, like any difficult company that comes in, then obviously, why not? Someone will just pay for, and that's for the whole year. You just might land the offer in 2 months or 3 months of clearing those online assessments and interviews. So that is very saddening also, but that is also the reality. This is the worst it is going to get. It will just get better from here on. So it is there. So relying on GPT and stuff, it might get you inside the company, but you probably won't be able to survive inside. The reason being, what matters inside is the ability to think on any kind of problem, not just a competitive programming problem. So let's assume there's competitive programming, GPT can do it. It has so much information from all these books and stuff that it has read through the internet. It can solve problems and it can think for solving a problem. But now, when you think of solving a bit more complex problems that are a bit larger, it struggles. When you think of how to manage different people, AI probably can't do that. You have that ability, how to communicate your thoughts really well with the other person. So that I believe that AI can't do. And in general, you should think of becoming a better engineer, a better problem solver, rather than a DSA enthusiast. So let's say so currently let's just take example of compute. So in AI, these chips that are there, that are very powerful. But if you would be able to solve this problem where you could make even more powerful chips that like just put in everything, like those physics and maths and this and electronics, just combine it. So that is what an engineer is. In software also, like how do I solve the problem of like getting the downloads daily? So I have to make a complete comprehensive tool, stuff like that. So solving problems is, I believe, the better thing. A better engineer as compared to a better competitive programmer or this or that is a person that should advise on who is looking for a job, is what I believe. So that is what I am also aiming for.
So speaking about like how you said using GPT during online assessments and quizzes, so would you justify cheating, like especially if there's academic pressure or expectations or time constraints to study?
For me, it's not, because I don't feel good after cheating in a contest. Like it's just like I do it for fun. And in a contest, if I'm cheating, the fun is just sucked out of it, obviously. So that's there. But the thing is, you should know why you are doing it. And you should have a very good reason that you yourself can agree on with certain principles that you have set. So like if you believe that you are a very honest person and you have set these principles, then cheating obviously isn't justified and stuff. But if you believe कि यार हाँ सभी कर रहे हैं तो मैं क्यों ना करूँ, मतलब it is probably the standard at this point where the interviewer will assume I have cheated, तो मैं क्यों ना करूँ, something like that. But again, it won't get you anywhere. So the reason I don't cheat is it's just like it won't get me anywhere. Like if I cheat in a contest, my rating will increase. That's it. It will suck the fun out of it. So I don't want to. In an OA also, if I cheat, I'll just get through to the company. I probably won't be able to survive there because I haven't cleared the technical requirements that they are asking for. So that will be hard. So in general, just the consequences, and let's say if I'm even caught cheating, the consequences are just too much. Like why would I risk it? So yeah, it just doesn't make sense, cheating at all, to me at least. So yeah, I don't cheat. And if anyone is thinking, just think of why are you cheating.
So like suppose you could get into a time machine, go back to the past, is there something that you would like to change?
No.
Okay, that's good. So now speaking about the future, so where do you see yourself in the next few years?
Next few years. Quite a difficult question to answer. Like I haven't thought much about it. Since my internship started, I've just like been chill and haven't laid back and even thought. I've just been living and stuff. But one thing that I have understood is I'm putting so much effort in this internship, and that effort is completely going to someone else. I would want to do that for myself. It's the same amount of effort, but for myself as compared to for someone else, for me and my loved ones. So something like that. Yeah. So I probably see doing something on the side, having fun, but being in tech in general. Yes, I'm writing code.
So before we end, the last question, what advice would you like to give the students of our college and other colleges related to coding or even in general?
It's like, if you enjoy it, then do it. If you don't enjoy it, just leave it. Like, it's as simple as that. Don't chase those targets. Rather, it's the journey that is way more fun than achieving that target. There might be something that you might have to do if you don't like. Karlo, that might be useful for survival in this world. But in general, just keep having fun and keep smiling and have fun. Yes.
So thank you
Nothing
so much
else.
for
Yes.
joining us today, and all the best for your future endeavors.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Subscribe to E-Cell.